Welcome to Hat Chat Live. This is our unscripted, unedited show on Wednesday night. Just when we thought it was safe to get into regular Wednesday nights and our listeners were going to go through the roof, Origin's back on. But no one cares about that because we have a very small amount of people watching us live. So thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to this on the replay, then where were you? But joining me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Jake. G'day, mate. How are you?
Hello, mate. I am a busy boy. The camera is not on once again, and that's because tonight I am packing, leaving first thing tomorrow morning. I'm going to drive across to Melbourne to have a wonderful weekend with yourself, Nathan, and some other characters across for a little
Other
mini gather
characters?
round mid-season. Yeah. I'm not gonna divulge the names of them.
It's a full cast of people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about a fourth Beatle. I can't say that he's going to be there, but there's definitely going to be some people there. Hopefully, a large number of them, particularly on the Saturday night game. But no, looking forward to it and looking forward to tonight as always.
Excellent, mate. And one of many fourth Beatles, I think we have. Bales has joined us as usual on Wednesday night as well. G'day, mate. Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks, boys. Yeah, good to be here once again doing my Beatle duties. But I think the bigger news over that is that Hugh McCluggage is back this week. So that'll make all the Hat Chatters out there very, very happy, I'm sure. Yes,
we have called this returning premiums because there seems to be a few coming back this week, or at least a few in the mix to come back. And McCluggage is one. Dane Zorko, I think, getting quite close. Archie Roberts. So there's a number that we should see back in our teams or being back as options this week at least. So exciting times, but I think from a football sense, really big game tomorrow night as well, which I'm sure Bales won't watch because it's not overly fantasy relevant, but we do have Sydney versus Freo over at Optus. So the main ins and outs there, I mean, not hugely fantasy relevant unless you're thinking about draft teams, but Hayden Young out injured again. Sean Darcy managed, which I don't know, to me is almost a bit of a soft drop when you've got someone like that getting managed regularly. Tom Papley returns to the Swans. That's big in for them. But what are you expecting out of that game, guys? Like obviously big game, clear top two sides on the ladder at the moment. From a fantasy point of view, what are we expecting?
Yeah, I think, well, the first part, I guess, the first point with Sean Darcy being dropped is the Jackson owners out there will rejoice, potentially some more excitement for him. Obviously, a tougher matchup than he has faced. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. But obviously, doing the ruck duties without someone like Sean Darcy in the side is only a positive for him. I think otherwise, hopefully it's just going to be a belter of a football game. And you mentioned it's not overly fantasy relevant. I'm sure there's quite a few names that people have in their sides. But I guess it is an interesting one from a scoring point of view. I tend to almost look past these early games sometimes. I almost just let them be. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just a mental thing more than anything else. But I reckon historically, I have seen a large number of lower scoring games early in the round. And I don't think there's any correlation or truth around that. But it's just something that I kind of feel within my bones, and it helps me kind of maybe just try not to get too invested on a Thursday night more than anything else.
Yeah, it's obviously always nice keeping trades in the bag as well if we do get carnage at teams, or even obviously with the Friday benches. So I think probably this stage of the season maybe slightly less important where you sort of rookies and guys like that you're less reliant on them for making teams, although Nathan and I are still in that boat at the moment with rookies on field. But those people that are kissed with in a luxury position like you, Jake, with 27 premiums, whatever you have, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, I do have 27 players over 450k, if that counts as premiums. I don't think it does. But no, I am in the nice position this week to hold Whitfield and have McKercher and HHK, my boy Noah, looping for me. So they are the 23rd and 24th, and one of them this week will become the 22nd. So yeah, pretty kissed, sitting down at 11,500, mate. Thanks for checking in.
Bales, I mean, if we talk about fantasy relevant players in that game tomorrow night, it's obviously the two big Swans mids, Heaney and Errol, who you now own, and then it's probably the ruck matchup, really being Grundy and Jackson. I mean, would you trade into any one of those guys this week, considering how tough the matchup is, or just let him go for another week?
Well, all the good coaches traded Errol in a couple of weeks ago, so we've lost money, but this is where the 150 is gonna pop up. No, I really do hope Errol could put up at least a ton in the game tomorrow night. I'm hoping that with Papley back, that's another forward that would push Goulden a little bit more into CBAs. I looked at his CBA sort of splits, and first week he had no CBAs in the first half, and then very little, and then had a fair few in the second half. Second game, he had a fair few in the first half, but not in the second half. So I'm hoping that maybe that's a bit of a sort of a plan to then integrate a bit more towards that more midfield than forward. So I'm hoping that turns around, but I wouldn't say for anyone to jump on just yet. I'd probably want to see it first. Hopefully Heaney just gets it done in a tough matchup. But I think Jackson versus Grundy is going to be the very interesting watch to see how he goes, because we've seen Jackson a couple of lower scores with Darcy back in. So hopefully with Darcy out, Jackson go back to his high scoring ways. And the ruck looked pretty good last week. So if he can do anything like last week, I think Owen's be pretty happy.
Yeah. I mean, Freo obviously have brought in Mason Cox to replace Sean Darcy, so it's a reasonably like-for-like replacement. But yeah, you're right. It's probably going to do slightly less ruck time. He's probably a bit more of a capable forward than Darcy. So yeah, interesting watch. But yeah, I think, as you kind of said, Jake, I think I'm probably in the boat of just let this one go by this week. I think it's going to be a really competitive game. I'm kind of hoping this is the start of the Freo decline, to be honest, after their slip up last week, but we'll wait and see. It'll be awesome to see them come against the Eagles in the Derby in a few weeks' time, all of a sudden under a bit of pressure. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they will probably be too strong at home. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, looking forward to that one tomorrow night. Let's maybe touch it on a bit more some of those players that might be coming back in this week. So this one from Pencil Max on Twitter, and you obviously can ask us questions on Twitter or X or here on the YouTube stream as well. We'll try to get to a variety of both. But he says, good day, fellas. Do you think Klug and Zorko coming back in is enough to reconsider trading it in Will Ashcroft? Obviously, the Lions up against Essendon this week. So, Jacob, are you looking at Ashcroft this week? I don't think you're an owner. And would that turn you off with those guys coming back in?
Well, this makes me upset because I have Ashcroft in right now. And these are the questions that DC, are the ones that get me, where I start to overthink decisions that feel like a pretty straight play. Yeah, look, it wasn't. I don't think it should be, but we definitely have seen an uptick for him without those names in the side. And whilst it's not a direct correlation, it certainly has helped.
I don't think Zorko really matters that much, does it? Like, he's playing a very different role.
You're correct. I think probably the interesting part. I feel like from a Zorko perspective, it then just means where do the other players go? We also talk about a number of guys who like to, when they have the opportunity to, rack up the pill. So it just gives extra mouths to feed from a game that doesn't suddenly have more disposals. It's just shared around a touch more. And I think, especially some of the ways I've seen Will Ashcroft rack up in the last couple of weeks, and he's getting into the back pocket, taking a +6. I think potentially with a Zorko in the side, he loses some of that junk. So look, I think we'd be lying to say it doesn't affect him. I guess the question is, does it affect him enough? And when we've seen a couple of those ceilings the last few weeks, I'm still quite bullish. My trade this week will likely be him or Cozzy. And it's just, I can spend all my cash and get him, or I can leave cash in the bank and then get a really nice upgrade next week to whether that's a Baz or someone similar. So that's the one decision I have to make. It wouldn't turn me off him entirely, but it's absolutely something to consider because, I think we'd be lying if we said it didn't have some form of an impact. How much that is, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of think the Zorko one. Zorko's so good at hitting that short inside kick, and I think that's the sort of pop up +6 sort of mark that Ashcroft goes looking for really regularly, sort of around their defensive 50 line. I think Zorko's as good as hitting that kick as anyone in the league, so I think that part of it probably helps him. But yeah, the McCluggage bit worries me a little because I do think the balance of that Brisbane midfield didn't look quite right when McCluggage was in there, and then he goes back out injured again, and all of a sudden they seem to find form. So probably more correlational than causational, but they certainly were struggling as a full midfield there for probably at least a month when McCluggage was in there. So I'm intrigued to see how they make that work. But I think we'll probably see McCluggage ease back in time of ground wise anyway, which shouldn't affect Ashcroft quite as much as it could be.
I guess just from the Zorko perspective, though, like I agree with you. He's the best one at hitting those passes. But would you say that with him back in the side, there's less need for Ashcroft to be dropping as deep as he has been? Whereas at the moment, from a talent perspective, I feel like they've needed him to be the one that's dropping. Whereas now that's not necessarily the case. I think that's my concern because
maybe
I agree. I agree that Zorko would hit him up. It's just, will he be in the position that he has been without Zorko in the team?
I think that's just the way that Will plays. I think he likes winning the ball with those short passes and helping to maintain control of the ball through the middle of the ground. So I don't think he'll change the way he's playing. It's just whether or not he's the one that gets kicked to, I guess. But yeah, interesting, different perceptions there. I mean, Bales, any worry for you? Are you looking at Ashcroft this week?
I really wish I could bring him in. To be honest, I'm quite keen on Ashcroft. I hate not owning him because watching him get those little short kicks, I sort of just look at guys like Walsh and all this in my team, and I go, why can't you do that? Why can't you be that? So it's, I think he's a good target. He's got Eston and West Coast. I think he's going to go pretty big this week against the Bombers. And I just think, McCluggage has been in and out all year. He's struggled with injury. I don't think they're going to just launch him back into the role we had, say, last year, right? And Ashcroft's really taken that next step. So I think maybe maybe someone like a Dunkley that cops maybe the little regression there with McCluggage back in, because since McCluggage's been out, that's where we've seen a bit of an uptick from Dunkley, albeit an uptick from Ashcroft as well, or maybe it's just a bit of everyone takes a slight step back. But I think even a slight step back for Ashcroft at the moment is still a pretty good score. So I quite like him.
Yeah, and against Essendon, you would expect a lot of Lions players to score well the way that both of the teams going at the moment. So, yeah, interesting watch. But I don't think it's enough to talk you out of trading him in, put it that way. I think there might be some small changes there, but if you're really keen on Ashcroft, I don't think it will matter too much this week, to be honest. So if you're keen on him, go for it. I mean, looking at other red flags potentially for a different player, JT asks or says, hello, hat chatters, or chat hatters, he says, actually. Is Marshall worth it for a 1 to 2 week play with the news TDK is back running, or do we just keep Cameron? I mean, the interesting thing is, like, with the injury he had, he's probably going to be back running before he's going to be thrown back into contact. So
sounds like 3 weeks. That's what I'm hearing, and it's his second punctured lung in 2 years. So, I don't think they're going to, as you say, I don't think they're going to rush him back, right? So I think. And do we think that Marshall is going to have more of that ruck share when TDK's back? Like, he was pretty good on the weekend and offered them a lot around the ground that TDK hasn't necessarily been able to do on a week-to-week basis. It could just even be a 50-50 split. And if he's your F6 and he averages, 90, I think that's still pretty good, right? And it could be good ruck cover as a ruck forward to cover if you get an injury in the ruck.
It's also the next 2 weeks as well, isn't it? Like, obviously,
Geelong next week.
Port this week, Geelong next week. Like, if he's solo against Geelong next week, I think we're looking at another pretty tasty ton there as well. So I don't think you want to miss out on that given his price.
Yeah, have you said the DVP for, I don't know if you guys have seen DVP for rucks against Geelong over the last 5 weeks, obviously, because they've given up a couple of those monster scores. But Geelong in the last 5 weeks are giving up plus 36.4 to rucks. I don't reckon I've ever seen a DVP that big. Courtesy of Maria's Magic there. I don't reckon I've ever seen that big. So, yeah.
I think, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly in that point. I think probably to his question, though, he said, or do I keep Cameron? And I've been pretty strong on this. I don't think I'd be bringing him in to your ruck line. Obviously, if you can plan your trades as a forward, you've got to move on in the next 2 weeks, and he's in your ruck line for a week or something. That's fine. But I think you could be a big loser, not to be confused with the 2010s TV show, of course. But if you bring him into the ruck line, I think that you could lose 20 to 30 odd points kind of through the back end of the season. Whereas I agree, he'll probably get some more ruck share, not put as much pressure on TDK to finish the season, and he'll be a good scoring forward. But we've had 3 rucks who have gone absolutely like bang through the last few weeks, and we would expect to continue for the remainder of the year. And I don't expect Marshall to keep that up when TDK does come back in the near future. So, yeah, if it's if it's for a week or two and you know you're going to make another trade, that's fine. But definitely keep that in mind when you're making that decision.
I think you just got to jump off Cameron. I think he's just not scoring, and I just don't see it turning around. So I agree. Yeah, have that plan to put Marshall forward in a couple of weeks and bring in one of those big guys in a Grundy or Jackson.
This similar sort of question, a nice follow-on from that one. This one from Kel, who I used to play cricket with actually. So good day, Kel. Says, lads, I'm 10k. What trade should I do? Option 1 is a straight bat. It's a nice cricket theme here as well. Straight bat, which is Brent Daniels to Marshall and Whitfield to Dunkley. Or option 2 is slog to Cow Corner, which is rookie downgrade Whitfield to Baz, which means holding Brent and taking a rookie score likely from Murray.
You got to go the first one, don't you?
Gosh, if I'm holding someone, it's Whitfield. It's not Brent Daniels. I think that's probably the thing. I think you have to trade Brent Daniels. So if you could do a trade like that with the Brent Daniels move and holding Whitfield, I'd be more inclined to say yes. But I think you have to trade Brent Daniels, so you have to go with.
I wonder if that's the third option. I wonder if it's actually the third option is actually a forward defensive, which is trade a rookie down to generate the cash to then go Brent to Marshall rather than trading Whitfield to generate the cash to do that same trade. So, yeah, I wonder whether that might be the other option there, Kel. But I agree with you. I don't think you're holding Brent. I think he's, as far as we know, he's still going to be out for a few more weeks. Alrighty. This one, similar follow-up question to the one about Ashcroft. Jack says, hey, Legends, bring in Washcroft, but struggling with how. Either I trade Whitfield and bring in Franco as a rookie, or I trade out Track and bring in Puka as a rookie. Has he been named, has he? I've missed that one. Have Kirch as cover for Witt if I hold, and HHK as a rookie on field regardless.
I'm just stuck on whoever Puka is because I'm thinking NFL. I'm thinking NFL Bales, and if you can bring Puka Nakua in, then I am so on board.
It could be a red dot. I've never heard that name before in my life. So
he's not saying not Puncher from Collingwood who made his debut last week. I think there is a Puka.
It's Peucker.
Yeah, I think there is a guy that's got a last name that, but I'm assuming
apparently he's a Tigers forward. Pure Grunt says in the chat.
Yeah, I'm assuming he hasn't made his. Yeah, obviously hasn't made his debut yet. So depends if you need the red dot or not.
Yeah,
I guess.
Or trade out Track and bring. Yeah.
I got principle Franco the best rookie of the week. If you have the capacity to bring him in, obviously the priority is the premium you're bringing in here. But we're obviously a big fan of Franco, and UDC in particular, I'd imagine would be.
Yeah, I thought he was really impressive. It tackles hard as well. So it kind of weirdly reminded me of John Newcomb's, one of John Newcomb's first games. Like when didn't he break a record on debut tackles or something? Like it was 13, kind of like that, where he was really contested, but did not look out of place at all. So, I mean, I'd love it if he was half as good as John Newcomb in a few years' time, but similar sort of intensity around the ball. So I think he'll score okay, particularly if it's a contested game against the Dogs this week. So yeah, I think he's a good option. But I think at this stage of the season, there was a question earlier. I'm just trying to find it. That was asking around like how important trading in. Oh, here we go. This one here.
Before you read that, DC, I just for a moment there thought you were going to say, yeah, he just his first game really reminded me of a Port player in the 1990s. Josh, I think his name was, or something along those lines. So it felt like a real nice segue there.
That would have been much funnier.
Yeah, shout out to that. But we'll answer seriously, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, this one, She's My Cherry Pie, which is a very good team name, is how important is Franco at this stage? So tossing up between coming to him or Farrow to Ulan this week to get Cameron to Gawn. So, I mean, are we shifting our trades, I guess, generally speaking, guys, to bring in someone like a Franco this week? Or is it not the time of the season to do that?
I still think there's enough time for a rookie to make cash. I had a look, and if he goes at about a 60, 65 average for the next 3 weeks, he makes about 150K. So you can see 200K over the next month. That's puts you around 2021, roughly around there. And that could be quite important to get, I don't know, someone like a Walsh, LDU, but sort of a guy that's 10 points off the top 8 mids, or a defender's not quite there, or even a 23rd premium if you just end up covering trying to go. I think it's still, if you can still make the trades that you need to, then great. And if you're strength team value, but I feel like if you do have a fully upgraded side and you don't need the cash gen, you can go 230K for guys that debut. But at the end of the day as well, I think the other thing we've got to remember is this year is we got the TOG threshold as well. So I think it is important to still have a good defender, midfield, and forward rookie on the bench just as some cover. Like last week, most people got 13 points extra from Whitfield and having Hall Khan there. So that's quite going to be important for maybe league matchups or rankings, or the Hat Chat seeded leagues, or to get you into the Hat Chat seeded league. So,
ironically, would have had I had him in the back line, I would have beaten Louis, and I would have won my matchup. So, jokes on me.
And also, I thought I'd just say I got an email from the Fantasy Fanatics lawyers, and they just said that they will hold no accountability for the fixtures that have been put out for the content creators.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate you.
But yeah, no, I didn't get the whole emergency either. He was in my midfield, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I think Franco
I don't know who these people are that you're talking about, Bales, because I didn't get it either.
Yeah, just everyone else I'm matched up against. But yes, no, I think, Franco, he looked great, and I think I can't see him going anywhere anytime soon. So I think, if you can get him in and the trades still work, then by all means, I'd be going for it.
Yeah, I mean, the follow-up question from Ninja Spoon, friend of the pod, says, high feet. At what point in the next few weeks do we just go 230K likely red dots for trade-ins? I mean, I don't think it's just yet, is it? I think we've still got 7 weeks to go. So if you can make the trades you need or make the upgrade you need by trading in a playing rookie, I think that's still the path at the moment, right?
I think in principle, yes, but there are so many unique scenarios to play out here. So I guess my unique one, as we both know, I had 30 red dots last week. That's probably why I'd be ranked 11,000.
That would be going very well.
That would not be great. I had 30 green dots last week, so I was forced to trade in a red dot so that I could get my loop, which was crazy. And similarly, I still have Mitch Edwards. So my best trade this week is just to go Mitch Edwards to a red dot, both because it gives me a second one just in case, but also I think in the ruck line that makes sense, and he has the most cash on his head to allow me to do my trades. So if you've still got 6 other green dots, I think that's perfectly fine. But I think for most teams, I think if you are running any more than 3 red dots, you definitely shouldn't be doing it. And I think similarly, if you've only got 1 or 2 players left who will be the ones that you use for your upgrades for the next 2 weeks, I also wouldn't be doing it. So I'm also in a spot where I've got 4 players with 450K on their head. So if I know I've got my next 4 weeks of upgrades, regardless of what trade I make this week. So I think, those are the 2 factors that I would put into play. But at the end of the day, if you can get the trade that you want and still get someone like Franco, you should always do that. Like, you should always do that. But I wouldn't compromise on the player I'm bringing in if those other scenarios are at play.
Yeah. No. Well said. All right, this one. Let's go to this one on the YouTube from Ease793. Says, "G'day lads. Thoughts on option 1 being fielding Holmes and Jagger Smith and leaving 350K in the bank, or option 2 is fielding Wilkie and Zach Bailey, so quite different option, but trading Whitfield to do that."
What's it? So Farron Daniels.
Zach Bailey could be anything this week against the Dons.
I think this is what I think a lot of people have considered. Like, you trade Whitfield and get 2 sort of sideways trades where you go, if like I'm assuming Farrow's on field based on this, so probably go option that, because like these are 2 fairly similar to what I'm considering this week. And I think Farrow at the Gabba against the Lions, I'm a bit scared about that one. I know he's been great the last 3 weeks as a rookie, and thank you to Farrow, but shake his hand and say thank you for your service, but got to trade you out with a bad matchup, and then Daniel's got to go. So I think Jagger's fine at F6. I don't think there's any qualms about him being there, and Holmes is pretty good. And I'm assuming Hall Kahan would be cover for Holmes there, so I'd go option 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I think
I actually,
I'm probably with you.
yeah, I like them both. I actually don't think either of them are of massive concern. But yeah, I think if I was to lean away, option one probably just, to be perfectly honest. Should be a couple of potential good scores over the next couple of weeks from all of those guys.
Yep. All right. Big Bondi 64 says, "Hey legends, need to trade two of these three. Jacos. Went a bit Sean Connery there, didn't I? Newman and Walsh will be to Baz and one of Zach Bailey, Rankin, or Brad Hill. So please rank them for me. Ranking for reference is 398th. So doing very nicely. And he says, loving the YouTube. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. So yeah, who are we trading out of those three? You got the two Blue Boys and Josh Dacos.
Well, I've got all three, and Walsh has got to go. He's just got to go. He's just not putting up scores. I think Walsh to Baz is a great trade, and Jacos Newman's interesting. Like, Newman's got the run, but I feel like if Newman just doesn't have that 40-point quarter in a game, he's just an 85 guy. Like, it seems like he gets a 105, 110 by having a 40-point quarter and just getting 20 points in every other quarter. So, but then Jacos has got pretty tricky run for the remainder of the year. I think I heard it somewhere that he's got pretty much every red matchup there is on the run home. So maybe based on that, it's Josh Dacos and Walsh out, but it's a bit of a toss-up between Jacos and Newman, but I think Walsh is definitely the one. I think I like Rankin for the price, and they've got a pretty good run besides Sydney next week. But also don't mind Brad Hill and Zach Bailey as well. I think they're all good, but I'll probably go Rankin, Hill, Zach Bailey in terms if I'm ranking them, I think.
Yeah, I think, well, I know what you said about Josh Dacos, but Josh Dacos also has the Dogs, and it feels like that game he could go absolutely crazy. So even if he goes 80, 80, 80,
Josh
80,
Dacos
80,
does.
Yes? No?
Dogs playing the Eagles, Jake. We're going to the game.
No, not this week. No,
All right. You should have made that clear.
Sorry. Apologies. In his run home, which is what Bales was referring to, I believe in 3 weeks' time, I want to say around...
He's around 21 or something like that, I think, around 20.
Am I getting this wrong? I'm looking for it very quickly over the list, but maybe I'm imagining things.
So Josh Dacos in his run home, so I've just got it up here. So he has got North Melbourne, Carlton, Adelaide, Geelong, West Coast, Hawthorn, and Brisbane. So yeah, so no doggies.
Ignore me there. I'm obviously thinking about the other Dacos, not Peter, not Nick, the fourth one who has changed their last name and is in a team that's playing the Dogs. I still 2 weeks ago, and I still feel bullish enough. I know that's not the question, but you're ranked very well, so maybe they are the first three players you need to trade out. But is there someone else? Because I don't hate any of them enough to say with confidence that moving them to any of the names that you mentioned is a significant upgrade. And obviously we're at that unique point of the year where potentially you are making a hopeful choice week on week, depending on matchups. But I'd probably prefer, personally, to keep all of them and try and get a 23rd in, unless there is a clear upgrade from one of those guys. I think Walsh,
the clear upgrade will be to Baz. Like any of those guys to Baz is a big upgrade. And then,
if you can get Walsh to Baz, then absolutely, that's fine. But then the other ones feel very sideways. So I'd almost be looking from if you've got a rookie who's got cash, you can move to a Franco and then have extra cash for next week's trade. Or if you've got someone on the bench, like even at this point, like a Hull Khan, you could potentially, depending on where you're sitting from a cash situation, move him to a nice 23rd, 24th, or people might just be happy enough for him to run as a 23rd, 24th. So I just think sometimes trading sideways is necessary at this time of year, but I still really like to only make that move once I've got a 23rd or 24th and I can see a clear upgrade path.
It's also once you've got a lot of your cash onto your field. So if you're still rolling with guys with a lot of cash on their head that are just sitting on the bench, they're not generally going to be contributing to your score, particularly once you've got a full team premium. So you will get an advantage if you can get that cash on the field. It might not feel like it immediately because you want to get rid of some of these guys that are being frustrating for you. But if you do that every week for the next 4 or 5 weeks, all of a sudden you've suddenly got 1 million more on the field than some other teams that have been sidewaysing for those few weeks. So 7 weeks to go, I don't think we just want to be sidewaysing every week without trying to keep improving your on-field cash value. I think we sometimes lose sight of that, looking at team value instead of the actual on-field cash value that's scoring points for you.
Yeah, I think it's a great call out. They say, like, if you've got $2 million on the bench right now, you can cash in, because obviously everyone should have $2 million. 8 by 230 is about that. But if you can cash in some of those numbers, then that should be your priority, because then each and every week your scoring potential is theoretically higher if you pick the right guys.
As you said, Jake, you sort of get 100K each of the next couple of weeks. Hall Khan gets up to 550, or I should say Noah, sorry, gets up to 550, 600. Then you go him up to a guy in the 900s. You got your 23rd right there.
All right, let's go to this one from Matt D. He says, "Hey, metatarsals, after the fecal efforts of Houston in previous weeks, is it okay to dump him and trade field HHK for 1 week if it means I can trade Blackiston, still got Blackiston, far out, to any forward with the extra money and get Lombard off the field?" I mean, yeah, I would say absolutely.
Yikes, Blackiston
What
and
round are
Lombard
we
on
in,
the
Matt?
field. Oh,
Why are you still in round 8?
Well, I appreciate, first of all, like, props to Matt here, because that is a rough year and you're still tuning in, you're still asking questions, and you're still trying to improve your team. And there are teams that would have had those changes some time ago who have given up. So absolutely props to you for sticking it out. Yes, do that option. Get rid of Blackiston and get Lombard off field. You'll feel so much better about your side. I don't care that you're fielding HHK for the week. Please do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go for it. All right, let's go a couple more listener questions, and we have got some pretty fun ones that I'd like to get to tonight. So we'll go a few more serious ones and then a few curveballs that people have thrown us in the comments. So let's go to Ashwin here. He says, "Howdy, everyone." In brackets, miss you, Nathan. I mean, that makes one of us. Number 1, Whitfield and Decam to Rankin and Holmes, or number 2, Decam and Banks / Farrow to Zach Bailey and Hewland, or a defender rookie. So yeah, it's the old trade Whitfield or not scenario, I guess. But Darcy Cameron going in both options there.
Probably comes down to how many rookies you've got in field, right? Like, you guys talked about on Monday, we spoke about it as well, that if you're in a pickle with cash gen, you need some cash gen, then Zeke Hewland could be a bit of a handy stopgap for a couple of weeks to make some nice cash after that big score. But I sort of still tend to lean to the first one instead of dabbling around in those sort of areas. So what was the first combo? Was getting going somewhat.
Yeah, so Whitfield and Darcy Cameron to Rankin and Holmes, or Darcy Cameron and Banks or Farrow to Zach Bailey and Hewland.
Yeah, I think I still go the first option. I think.
Yeah, I think you're getting in 2 guys there that should be top 6 in their line in Rankin and Holmes, versus Bailey, who should be around the mark, but then Hewland's obviously a more speculative pick. So
I think if you can loop, there's zero doubt in my mind it's option 1. If you can loop Banks and Farrow, then absolutely option 1. If you can't loop, I do think it's closer, but I'm still leaning that way. But yeah, make sure you're factoring in all the possible loops in these scenarios. They'll help you out with your decision.
Should be able to loop depending on game times, because he'll still have Whitfield in option 2. So when do the Giants play?
Whitfield plays, I think, earlier on the Saturday, I think. Twilight, maybe. Which is before Hall Khan, before Farrow.
Banks and Farrow. That still may not work.
Yeah, they both play out. Banks and Farrow both play
the last 2 games of the round, so yeah, maybe not. Anyway, have a look at some of those options. You might have another red dot you can use, but yeah, if you can bring in 2 top 6 guys, I think I'd go for that.
Yeah.
All right. I support the sausage, says Dunks Rankin.
Okay, DC. That's a bold statement, DC. That's good for you. No,
I support sausage. It says Dunks, Rankin, or Wilkie. So 3 different lines there for us to compare.
Ooh. I think we don't know these answers, right? I think it depends what line you're weakest in, right? Like if you have a rookie in all 3 lines, let's assume everything's equal. To be honest, I'd probably lean towards Wilkie. Rankin, just a little bit more volatile, and whilst I think he's more likely to be top 6, I think Wilkie is more likely to score more points. Dunks, I really have no confidence in being top 8, so I think I'd keep him aside from the other 2, assuming all things equal.
Matchup this week, so
yeah, for this week it could be, but also for this week it might not be contested at all. Just the way that Essendon have been playing, and therefore Dunks might have a poor week. We never know.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I'd go Wilkie, although Rankin may be a slightly better chance at top 6.
I'll say Rankin. I think the top 6 at this stage of the season is a big thing, so I'll go with him. Where are you leaning, Bales?
Yeah, I'd go Rankin or Wilkie, one of those 2, whichever line you need it in. Yeah, that's probably where I'd go.
Come on, Bales, pick your favourite Hat Chat member. Pick which one you do.
I'll pick my favourite player there, and that is Rankin being a pro.
No, that's fine.
Cop out.
But no, I think the Wilkie run probably isn't amazing for defenders until probably around 23. Like Port's okay, Geelong's okay.
Don't leave Victoria though. That's the handy thing. So there'll be a marvel.
Exactly right. So whereas Rankin's got Sydney next week, but he's got a pretty nice run for the rest of the year. So I think he'll be good. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Rob says Dale or Hill as a trade-in if you had to choose one. So again, forward versus defender.
This week it's Hill.
Yeah, you reckon it's Hill?
I think Murdoch will go to Ballydown. I'm a bit nervous about that one.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
and Hill could be good if you like. There was a trade scenario I've looked at where if I traded Whitfield this week and get Brad Hill in with the idea of trading Petrarca to a defender. Because obviously with Brad Hill being the TPP now, he could be a little bit handy if you don't like a forward. You get him in defence and maybe you want Dale next week because he's got a good run after this week. He goes Richmond, Gold Coast or the other way around. So maybe you go Hill this week, Dale next week and flip Hill forward and trade a Petrarca or something like that maybe.
I was about to say when DC said forward versus defender, I was like, are we talking about Brad Hill's own positions? Like just deciding and comparing them? That is a TPP is, particularly from a draft league perspective, really fun. I'm loving that we've added that to the game. It's not been amazingly useful because usually a TPP player has to be a bit of a Mr. Fix-It, which is not typically fantasy positive from a classic perspective at least, but it's still fun. I enjoy seeing it in my side at the very least.
It is good. Yeah. Alrighty, let's dive into some of these curveball questions that have been thrown our way. So we'll start with our good friend Braddles. He says, Legends, depressed Braddles is gone and we're back with a vengeance. In honor of being named the 4th Beatle by me, I need you to describe your season in one Beatles song. He also says, also be wary of sharing your location this Friday. Some obsessed parasocial fans might stalk you. All right, we'll let you know where we are, Braddles. But yes, I mean, how's your Beatles knowledge, Jake? Any songs jumping to mind?
Well, I mean, there's some obvious ones that come to mind. Whether or not they're relevant for this scenario, I can't speak. I was trying to think what made the most sense. Hard Day's Night was probably the first one that came to mind. That was the first. Well, sorry, first one that came to mind was Yellow Submarine. Didn't really see a way that I could align that. Although I am singing slowly but surely, so I guess that could work. But Hard Day's Night felt like probably the most appropriate one from my end.
Nice.
Actually, no, I won't spoil it. If it doesn't get mentioned, I'll mention my third one.
Okay, all right. You got anything else?
I was looking through all the songs. I think that the best one to describe the season is Help. Just
yeah, that was number 3. Yeah, that was. I don't want to steal it from anyone, but
I had a feeling as well when you said I've got another one. I thought, hang on, I bet you it's going to be the one I'm going to say. Yeah, Help was just pre-injuries issue has just been shocking. So Help is probably the one that sums up. I reckon this season the best.
Well, I had 5 minutes before we came live, so I spent a bit of time having a look at some options. So the 2 that I've got to describe my season, first one's Hello Goodbye which describes all of my trade-ins, where they come in for a week and then go out the next week.
Nice.
And then Please Please Me, which is just me kind of pleading to my team to be good. So they're probably the two that describe my team. But then I thought there was quite a few others that you could then turn into like either fantasy related or football related. So Twist and Shout at the TV. This is the first one. And then the other one I quite like is All You Need Is Love and a 120 captain score. And then there was a few others that were just like vaguely footy related, which I quite enjoyed, which was Hey Jude Bolton.
Nice. I was thinking of Jude Bellingham when I thought of
I've
Jude,
got that as well.
World Cup relevance, yep.
And Here Comes the Gold Coast Suns.
Nice. Well played, DC. That is good from you.
So that's what I've got.
Nicely done.
I'm good with that. After a quick Spotify search just to see if there was any I missed, I don't know this song off the top of my head, but actually I'm going to scrap everything else I said and decide that my song for this season is I Should Have Known Better. That feels like that feels like, I don't know how it goes. I'm going to have a listen straight after the show, but yeah, I think there's no doubt in my mind that is right bang on.
Braddles says DC is studying my questions now. I didn't realize he was such a nerd. I mean, how did you not realize that, Braddles?
Braddles, you're not the super fan I thought you were.
A couple of other suggestions in the comments. Pure Grunt says help as well. I think you might have said that before, you guys did. And then Ashwin is Don't Let Me Down is what I sing to every primo. So very good. Like it.
Good stuff.
Alrighty. There was a couple of other questions I wanted to get to. This one from Clint Broadwood, who we read out last week. I made some sort of lame joke about him not being Clint Eastwood. He says, "Yeehaw, chaps. Firstly, what is your favorite Western movie?"
Well played, Clint.
And secondly, with the Western theme, what is your good, bad, and ugly for the season so far? I mean, we've touched on Beatles songs. Any Western movies jumping to mind for you guys?
I'm going to make Bales go first because I know that he hasn't got one in his locker. So I just want to see what he comes up with here.
No, I've got one, but it's not I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was a cartoon when I watched as a kid because I haven't watched many Western movies. Is it Rango or I know Django Unchained. I'd probably that's one I do want to watch. But do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like
yeah.
So I think it's Rango
or
something like that.
I think, yeah.
It's got Johnny Depp voice in the thing. That wasn't bad. I didn't mind that one. So that's probably the first one that comes to mind. But Django Unchained, I do want to watch. That's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, isn't it? And Jamie Foxx. That's that. So I'm pretty sure that's the.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I do want to watch that one. So,
Jake, anything from you?
Not a traditional Western, but I did probably one of the more recent ones I've seen. And when I say recent, this isn't that recent, but The Magnificent Seven. I always think of that as a bit of a Western. That was a fun movie. I hope a few people would have enjoyed that one. And a nice way for me to surmise my fantasy team. Actually, there's usually about 7 good scorers each week, so it's a perfect segue.
Very good. I'm not sure whether this would 100% be a Western, but it's in that sort of sphere anyway. But I'll go with No Country for Old Men. I think it's one of the great films. I think you can make an argument that is a Western. So, yeah, awesome film. It's got one of the great bad guy performances of all time from Javier Bardem. And then he says, what's your good, bad, and ugly for the season so far? I mean, Jake, you've spoken about the fact that you've nailed your rookies. I'm assuming that would be probably your good, would it?
Yeah, my good is absolutely my rookies. I'm still nailing them. 30 green dots. What is that about? Also, do you think Back to the Future 3 counts as a Western? Just pondering something for our comments to answer. That could count. That was definitely my good. I think my bad, rather than my ugly, would just be my attempts at paying up that I've tried on a number of occasions to pay up this year, and they've all just been slightly underwhelming. So, Naz for 2 weeks, then he gets injured. Zorko obviously wasn't great, and then Gorn over Grundy. So all of them, not necessarily bad picks whilst in my side, but were bad because I had to then do something about them more than anything. And then I think the ugly look, there probably is a couple of options here. The two that I'm splitting hairs on are me telling everyone to pick Jordan DeGoey and not picking him myself, and me telling everyone to pick Jordan Dawson and not picking him myself. So, look, I'll let you guys decide which one is uglier, but I think they both fit the category for our good friend Clint.
Yeah, very good. Bales, do you want to have a crack at that? You got anything that jumps to mind? Good, bad, and ugly?
I think good was probably, I think it was between, was it rounds? I'm just trying to think here. I think it was like, no, it wasn't that week. I think it was like rounds 10 to about maybe 13. They're just the premium ins that I was able to bring in. So like bringing in after the week after I brought McCluggage in, but able to bring in Bont and Sinclair when they went pretty well, get on DeGoey early, get Cameron for a 120 for that first game, then get Baz and then Gorn, and then get Horn, Francis and Dawson. So that sort of month stretch was quite good. So I'll say that as the good. The bad, I think, was starting both McKercher and Bergman and getting 92 points combined from them in round one, and them being the bane of my existence for the first month of the season, trying their best Sam Taylor and Tom Stewart impressions. And then the ugly, and I wanted to roast this guy somewhere. Dante Vicentini, starting him at R3, that is the ugly. This guy, I've talked this with Port fans. Well, he is the most incapable forward that I reckon I've ever seen. Cannot play forward. He's a ruckman. And did you boys know that he started at, was it 500 and I think 39K or something around there? He's now down at 373. He's lost 166K on the season. So Lativo is not too bad, but it'd be so much better if I didn't have him there. And I've been able to use him as red dot either. So that's been, red dot R3 next year.
That is a shock.
To your point, I did not know that, Bales. To your question, that is an absolute stinker. And I think this year, Dante and Lockie Blackiston have highlighted that just because you've got a ruck role doesn't mean you will be a good fantasy player.
Yeah.
I think that's something for us to remember into 2027.
Yeah. But on the positive note, he got forward status. So, but I can't use it. So,
well, I'll say the good, as I often do, be kind of there or thereabouts a couple of months into the season. So I think I was looking at this the other day. I think I was 900 and something in round 9. So the ugly has definitely been since then, just the constant run of injuries and some drop off in form from some players as well, which has really hurt. That's cost me any chance of doing something this year. And then the bad would probably be almost the opposite of your good, actually, Jake. Missing some really obvious rookie picks. I didn't start Willem Dersma, even though I support the Eagles. I missed Braden Cook as well, as the other one that really stands out. And then I probably traded Jagger Smith about 6 weeks too early as well. So that's cost me a fair bit, both in points on field and cash gen. So, far from a perfect season, but encouraging I can still get thereabouts after a couple of months. So, but that almost brings us to the end of our questions, although we will touch on this slightly crazy one from Stefan. He says, the challenge is to eat one hot dog and then sprint 100 meters. And the challenges are Joey Chestnut. So if you don't know who Joey Chestnut is, he's that guy that's won, 16 hot dog eating contests or something ridiculous, versus Usain Bolt. And he asks us, who are we backing out of those two? So eat a hot dog and then sprint 100 meters.
I've got such a strong opinion. I feel like I brought this up at some stage with at least one group of people in the fantasy community. So I'll happy to go last, but I'm keen to see your boys' thoughts at the very least.
Well, I mean, the first thing is that Joey Chestnut's just won another hot dog eating contest. Usain Bolt's now 39. I don't know whether he's doing any sort of sprint training right now.
No, so let's put him in their peak.
A hammy. Oh, in his peak.
Put him in their peak.
Well, in his peak, Bolt's running the 100 in 9-point-something seconds. So can he eat a hot dog? I mean, what's the average man going to run 100 meters in? Like 14 seconds or something?
No, I'd say if someone can eat that many hot dogs, 66 in 10 minutes, I'm going to say they're running a 17 to 18 second 100 meters.
Yeah. So now I'll say Usain Bolt, I reckon, can eat. I reckon he'll have him covered. I'll say Usain Bolt wins it. What do you reckon, Bales?
I'll just go Usain Bolt as well.
Bales doesn't seem so interested in this. I think Joey.
No.
I think
Bring back the
I
footy
think
questions.
Joey has him hands down. I think. Can you imagine, DC, me asking you to eat a hot dog in 15 seconds? I'm going to say you have no chance. And I don't think Usain Bolt's got a chance either. And that's all he needs to do. I reckon Joey Chestnut, 2 seconds for the hot dog, an 18-second 100 meters, and Usain is still eating his hot dog at the start line. I am. Someone want to argue with me? Get on the show, jump on the live. I'm not going to be moved or wavering in this opinion. It is Joey by the length of the 100-meter straight.
I didn't realize you were like a secret Joey fan, Jake. I didn't know who he was until a week ago.
It's not a secret. If you guys could see my camera right now, you'd see the shirt I have on. It's just Joey's face. I'm eating a hot dog as we speak. It's like it's a real thing.
Alrighty. In one of the great segues of all time on this podcast,
I'm concerned.
it is now time for our blind ranking. And for this week, we are going to blind rank footy food.
Yes, no, that was well done. I love this. Good stuff, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have, as usual, 6 food or beverage items that you guys need to rank from best to worst. And number 1 being the best food item, number 6 being the worst. So to kick us off, we're going to start with probably the most stereotypical, almost, I would say, the good old meat pie.
I was having a real think here. See, I'm gonna let
I was
the
just trying to think whether he's
crowd.
ever had a meat pie before.
No, I'm gonna let the crowd in on a little something. Bales is a bit finicky with his food, aren't you, Bales? So this is a tough one for you.
Jake, don't air my dirty laundry, mate. We don't want to be letting people know how. No, I'm not. I'm very particular with what I want, and I do like a meat pie. I'm thinking around the middle, like 2 or 3.
See, this is the hard one because is this for us individually, DC, or are we doing this on behalf of the population of?
Well, no, I think for you guys, but it's got to have like some sort of relationship to footy as well. It's not just food that you like to eat; it's food that you like to eat at the footy. Yeah.
Just more like, so I would never choose a meat pie at the footy because I always burn my tongue and then I get upset for the rest of the game. So that's a me problem. And 2, I'm a messy eater and then I leave covered in gravy. So for those reasons, I put it really low down the list. I put it low down the list, but it's purely from not because of the taste. It's because I can't handle the kitchen.
Yeah, because I'd always go sausage roll if I'm at the football, if I'm getting a pastry item there. So maybe go like 4 something. Because I feel like a lot of people.
I'd put it at a 4 personally.
I feel like people are going to be coming for you in the comments. 4 is low for a meat pie.
I know it is. I know it is low. Yeah.
I'm a messy eater, guys. It's for me personally, but I appreciate it should be a 2 or a 3 for the average man.
All right. Well, let's roll straight into, as Bales just mentioned there, a sausage roll. Where would you rank the sausage roll? Obviously above the meat pie.
I'm definitely above the meat pie because sausage roll can just easier to eat. Like I feel like if I get a pie, as Jake said, it does get messy. So this one I'm probably a bit higher on. 2 or 3 is probably thinking around there.
What's number 1, Bales, is what I'm kind of put out there because I honestly the first thing I get at a footy every game is a sausage roll. That is probably my number 1. I could argue a hot chip. I could have a hot chip be argued number 1.
That's what. Yeah, I was thinking hot chips as well. Then DC did say beverages. DC did say beverages as well. So might be.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's go to 2. And when he puts Hugh McCluggage last, we're in some real trouble.
So what was that? Sorry, you're going 2 for the sausage roll?
Yeah, we'll go 2.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. The hot dog.
Oh, see, this depends on the hot dog itself. That like
the
ones that if anyone's been
rank the hot dog,
yeah, people been Adelaide Oval, the Vienna hot dogs they do are really good. Quite like those.
I'm okay with 3, Bales. If you're happy with it there.
Yeah, I'm happy with 3. Yeah, I wasn't going to put it 1, but 3. Yeah, happy with 3.
Less messy than a meat pie gets the tick of approval.
Yeah. So we've got 1, 5, and 6 left.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the hot chips.
DC, I saw that smirk, DC. You're putting a beer. We're going to put hot chips number 1, and you're going to give us beer, and we're going to have to put it at 5 to 6, which Bales will be fine with, but I'll be upset about. I think the hot chip has to go 1, doesn't it?
It has to go 1. Yeah, that's you get. I get it all the time when I'm at the football more often than if I eat. So it's got to go 1.
You've done us again, DC. Here we go.
Hot chips number 1. Next is beer.
Bales is probably okay with that at 6, aren't you, Bales?
No, I'm fine at 5 because the thing is, right, people may say that beer is good, right? Which I disagree because I don't like beer, but I know that's just me, and I know a lot of people love beer, but it is obscenely expensive. So I don't think you can go 1 because of how expensive it is, right? So I think you got to go down because people look at their wallets after, and their $100 is gone because they bought 4 beers, and it's like $25 each.
You know what, Bales?
So,
I'm going to say for the cost, we're going to put it at 6. just
Do you get this? Is the most dog's breakfast of a ranking you guys have ever done. It's just like the opposite of what I would have done. And then Braddles has kind of ruined the surprise here by saying, personally, I love consuming a nice hot human package of the footy. No, that is not going to be the last one. The last option is a $6.50 bottle of water.
Damn. I mean, we've stuffed the last 2 rankings up at the very least. That could comfortably have gone in at number 6. I was worried, DC, I was really worried it was going to sneak in there. Was going to be a hot donut. That's what I thought you were going to sneak in last.
That would have been good. That would have been
good. It's a real niche left field choice. But there was that on a cold night. Oh, that could have snuck into number 1.
We might have to get one of those at the G on Saturday night, I reckon, Jake.
Let's get it done.
And then for anyone that at Adelaide Oval as well, the one that I would mark at as S tier or 0, go above is if anyone's been Adelaide or those the chicken, like the popcorn chicken pop things, they're
curry stand at Adelaide Oval, pretty good too.
Yes, yep,
pretty good. So your final rankings: hot chips 1, sausage roll 2, hot dog 3, meat pie at 4 is just absurd to me. $6.50 bottle of water at 5, ranked above beer.
To be fair, honestly, I did say 5 for beer originally. That's on 6 because it's expensive.
Beer at 6 is outrageous. What are you guys doing?
No, look. I think in hindsight, I actually wouldn't change anything other than move beer to the top. So that would be. I would keep the order the same with beer.
Oh dear. So. That's quite humorous. Glad we did that one. All right, thanks, boys. That was good fun. As always, we will wrap up with our VCs and Cs for the week. So I'll kick us off very simply. Unrolling with Sheasel on Friday night. We'll be at that game with the VC, and then probably into Ashcroft, I think, with the C against Essendon. The other option probably Jordan Dawson against Gold Coast, I think. So there'd be my two guys, but I reckon Sheasel will get it done anyway. Bales, where are you looking?
Oh, this is such and I know Jake's going to go through all these names, but for me, it's such a tough week when I look at Dawson, Gawn, Naz, Dacos, Shees, like of all these guys that I've gotten. There's a few other names that I don't have that I also really like. I think right at this moment in time, I've got Dawson vice captain into Max Gawn against Richmond. I do like the Gawn matchup against Nank, but I don't know. It just feels wrong to leave Naz, Dacos, and Shees, who are all averaging like huge over the last month. It just feels wrong to not have one of those as a VC. It's like maybe it's just better to go like a Sheasel VC into a Jordan Dawson. I probably got Shees ahead of the other two just because I don't think Shees gets the tag, whereas I think Dacos gets Foss and Naz will get someone. But
playing nice early in the round as well. I guess Dacos and Shees are playing the same game, but get it done nice and early.
But the other thing I don't know if you guys buy into this as well, but when someone's I said this about Sheasel though, like last week, right? But when someone's put up a 150, I don't necessarily go into it going like, I always feel like they drop a lower score the week after. You don't see someone keep putting out these big scores. Where someone like Dawson, who has said he was okay last week, hasn't a big ceiling score for probably about a month. So I haven't gone 130 plus. I feel like that it could be a week where he does that. So that's
I mean, I would agree with you, Bales, but Sheasel's literally gone 173 and 154 in his last.
That's what I think. That's what I mean. I said that about Sheasel last week, and then he just said, "I'm just going to pop 150 on my head." So yeah, no, there's a lot of good options as well. I think it's actually a really difficult week this week. So I'm really interested to see the Dunkley's Donuts captain section what that has to say this week.
All right, Jake, let us know where you looking.
Yeah, no, Bales, you kind of highlighted pretty well all the big names. It's a weird one because I think tomorrow night is such a tough game that I want to be steering clear from it. But at the same time, I don't know that any of the other games gives us a reprieve. So I think the Dacos versus Sheasel one suggests that you should lean into Shees. I'm going to take the hot take that I reckon Dacos might outscore him this week. I know that the tag might go that way. I know it might not just as easily. That there's a few names there that could be damaging. I just have this feeling, DC, that might be the way that it goes. And it's going to be an interesting one because we will be at that game. I think I'm going to lean to VCing or seeing someone in that matchup because I don't have anyone that I want to do it with in the Hawthorn-Carlton game. So I think it means that my VC is going to be on Dacos at this stage, which feels crazy after the back-to-back weeks that Sheasel has had, but it just feels like there has to be some form of regression. I think 3 weeks in a row would he'd probably have maybe one of the highest last 3 averages ever, or not last 3, because of course he would have the highest last 3, but for some period of time, 3-game stretch, I think that would certainly be some form of record. Then you move into the Saturday games. Yep, Naz. I think Naz could be an excellent option, but the fact that we're not going to be at that game means I'm not going to do it. But I would be absolutely okay with people going down that pathway as well. Ash without Whitfield, we know can be good, obviously against the Cats, but in Sydney looks all right. And then Dawson, if I was an owner, would certainly be high up on the list as well. In a absolutely ridiculous shout, watch Bailey Williams go 120 against the hapless Dogs on Sunday. I'm not telling people to do that, but I'm just saying it might happen. And then obviously the 2 names you guys already mentioned, Max Gawn and Will Ashcroft. So look, there's a lot of big names. Currently, I'm Dacos into Ashcroft, which it just feels like Dacos might be the guy that if he doesn't cop the tag or he breaks the tag, he could have an absolute ceiling. And I feel really safe with Ashcroft. With the C, even a flourish game against Essendon, we would hopefully see a pretty serviceable score. So kind of take the boom or bust in Dacos. But look, I wouldn't blame anyone for going Sheasel, Naz, or Dawson, depending on who you are. And if you're going to any of the games, if you are in Melbourne this week, we'd love to see those crazy fanatic fans.
Come and buy me a beer, but not Jake, because apparently he hates beers.
Yeah, that's it.
Buy him a $6.50 bottle of water. He likes that more.
Really? Please don't. Please. Although, if Gather Round is anything to go by, please do. Please buy me some water.
Yeah, it probably needs it. Yeah. Just on your point there about best ever 3-game averages, I just quickly pulled up Tom Mitchell's 2018 season. From rounds 17 through to 21, he scored 157, 187, 160, 146, and 130. And that was 2 weeks after he scored 195.
Decent stretch.
Different
bad,
levels from the peaks.
The reality is, though, you look at the first 3 games of that. If Shees did put up a 160 this week, it's comparable, right?
It's comparable,
from a 3-game stretch.
Yeah.
Which is
the problem is that Tom Mitchell did stuff
historic.
like that on the regular for a couple of years there.
I know. But we're talking about historic there, and there's a chance that depending if Shees goes well enough this week, he kind of puts that up at what, 21? Crazy.
Yeah, something like that. Awesome. All right. Thanks, boys. Appreciate the chat as usual. Thanks to everyone that's listened in live. Braddles has just said Swanee went 171, 155, and 137 in a 3-game stretch. I mean, that's less or very comparable to what Sheasel's doing. So, but yeah, some of those guys historically were crazy.
I reckon that if we're going down memory lane, I also reckon that my man Brent Stanton in 2012 had 193 against Brisbane, and I think around that he had like a 150 the week before and like a 130 odd, I reckon it would have been. So yeah, I reckon he went, there it is, 193 in round 6. I know this is prolonging the pod, apologies. I just wanted to just check this. Essendon, he probably had a bad game the week after. Then 140 against West Coast the following week, and then the 3rd game against Richmond, he had a 124. So yeah, that's
All right.
pretty
Not
good.
bad.
as well.
Get Swampy. Someone message Swampy. That'd be great.
Yeah, well, I'm actually thinking this might be one of our blind rankings in coming weeks. Is ranking past fantasy guns. That might be a fun one.
It's a good one.
Oof.
But yes,
Hugh McCluggage. Can't wait.
yeah, that's really well set up for that, isn't it? All right, thanks, boys. Thanks everyone for listening in live. Good luck this weekend, and if you're in Melbourne, we might see you there. Otherwise, we'll talk to you next week. See ya.